I'm going to shoot a little video here about some of the, this is another one of the projects that, I get these little side projects going on. This is one of those stone faces that I did, kind of, saw an idea and modified a little bit. I was poking around the internet. The way I do this is I use styrofoam, in this case I'm using styrofoam for the core. So I kind of build up something that I'm going to wrap some, it's the drywall mesh tape, put that around there, and then I'll put some of that Hypertufa over the top of this to get the stone look to it. This case I'm just using some, some surplus styrofoam. I had packing foam that came with some other stuff. There's two different types I got on here. The one is just like those little bubble types. One of them is EPS, one of them is XPS. I can never remember the difference between the two of them. But here, the white stuff, this is the little bubble type stuff. Whenever you cut into it, the parts fly all over the place. The pink up here, that's XPS. This, like, I went over to either Home Depot or Lowe's it was, and I bought like a big old 4x8 sheet and then cut it down into more manageable chunks. And then I just kind of go through and cut this up to the size I want. Here, one of the things I did was to get now the side profile here. I took it in, put it on the bandsaw, and just got through it slow. Not a lot of stuff flying around from that, which wasn't too bad. For the other stuff, the better type of foam that doesn't have, it's a little bit more less messy. I use another tool, so I've got one of these. It's a hot foam cutter. I looked at a bunch of different types of cutters. A lot of them, there's like the wire, type ones and the other things. This one seems to work pretty well. You can swap the blades on it. There's longer blades. There's blades that were used for carving with. It's pretty decent. I've got like 4 or 5 different blades that came with this particular kit. This particular one I got off eBay. There's a couple of, like I said, you can see there's some different types of blades that you can use just to scoop and whatever else. They've got a sharp edge on one side, and it heats up when you pull the trigger, and then you just kind of slice through the foam. That's what I did for this. So you don't really need in my case, I don't need a super accurate shape. I just need some of the basics on it. What I'm doing here is just an experiment. It may not come out looking good, but I'll try it. Basically, there'll be a face on here, and then this will be the equivalent to a mohawk on this. And I'll cover that in stone. Some of the other things that I use, the little tools that are handy, some of these things I've had for forever and a day. Like this particular thing to get curves. It's a little helix, it's a little ruler essentially. And it's got it's flexible, so you can sit there and just kind of bend it back and forth and kind of adapt to a curve. So it's like when I was trying to get the basic shape for this to fit in here somewhat on this, I just kind of took this and wrapped it around, got the basic shape on it, then took that, put it on the styrofoam, traced around it with a pen, and then took the hot foam cutter and cut out the basic shape I needed. This one was made by Helix. I think I got this. I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, back in the early 90s. I think I picked that up back there then, so I've had that for a million years. The other thing I'm using is like a 2-temperature heat hot melt glue gun. This one's a Romex on this. This is just like a $30 hot melt glue gun. It works pretty well. Then I use that to stick the styrofoam together, the pieces, as I build it up. So this is made from a number of different pieces on that. And that's pretty much the basics on it. I'll end up, like I said, I'll put some of that mesh tape on here, and then I'll start I have to do it one side at a time and do it very carefully because I have to put it on, let it dry, basically it's Portland cement and let's see, Portland cement, vermiculite, and peat moss that you mix together and make a somewhat lighter mix. And I put it on one side at a time, let it dry for like a day, and then I'll move it over and put on another side, kind of work around. It can take anywhere from a week to a week and a half if I have time every night, which I don't now with the way things are working. It's weekends only, so this project's going to take quite a little while. But this is the basics on it, the start, and then what I'll do is make some more videos as I make more progress on it. You know, I may get stalled like I do with a lot of projects and come back to it later. But that's where I'm at right now anyway. So, more videos later.